I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it really, really well. And then when I'm doing my own stuff, I'm just like...
Behind every hit song is an undeniable beat. So why doesn't anyone talk to the drummer about it? We're getting behind the kit with some of the best drummers in North America. This is Drummer to Drummer. So I always start an interview with, how did you get started on the drums?
I was about 14, and my mom is a musician. She's a saxophone player and a singer, and she was in a band my whole life growing up. And I used to go to her shows and watch the drummer, and then after the shows help him pack up all of his drums.
Cool.
And he'd let me like play on them for a little bit.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, super cool.
That's clearly the coolest answer I think we've gotten.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that you win. When it comes to actually doing press, the reason I started to do this was because no one likes talking to me, and when I was a drummer, and probably still now. But how much press would you say you do in comparison to, say, another member of a band or the band?
Hardly any, honestly. As a solo artist, I do press, but I'm never asked about drums because, as a solo artist, I record as a drummer with my own music, but I perform as a front person. So that's never even the question at all.
Yeah.
In bands, I rarely do press. Like I might do a photo here and there, but nobody cares.
Right? You're proving it. The point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. You aren't necessarily just drumming on a record. You play every instrument on a record, which I find fascinating and really cool. So, how do you approach a song? When it comes to not only writing the drums, but also writing the hook, the melody, the vocal line, everything?
Yeah, I think it starts with rhythm. I usually think of a song, like if I just get on the drums and start playing and get into a feel, and then I sort of, in my head, sort of humming melodies and coming up with bass lines. A lot of the time I'll come up with bass lines and guitar lines, but I can't execute them as well as someone else might. So I write the part, and then I show them, and then they play it better than me, usually.
Right.
But for the most part, I do it all myself if I can. And yeah, it just starts with a feel, and that's honestly, I can't sit down with a guitar and come up with something because I don't feel the rhythm.
Yeah.
I have to feel it.
You are kind of a staple in the city of Toronto, and it seems like you're in demand with, it seems like pretty much everyone. How do you balance a life of picking up and learning songs for the very first time with a band and going on the road with them, or writing your own stuff and performing on your own? It just, you seem like you would just be the busiest person in the world, but how do you kind of balance all of your priorities musically in life?
I think that being a session drummer, it sort of hits one part of my mind and my body, and then being a solo performer takes out like the other creative side. So when I'm being a session drummer and I'm being told sort of what to play, I find that really satisfying because in my mind I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But they're like, no, do this thing in this box and then just kind of play in the box. And so that is like, yes, okay. You know, my like ADD is like in a box. I'm like, great, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it really, really well. And then when I'm doing my own stuff, I'm just like trying, and it just like I get to release that part.
Cool.
So I actually find it super balances like very, very well.